Welcome. Okay, so I want to start off the video with saying I am beyond thankful that everything ended up working out for the best. This is Nina. She's my Great Dane. She will be 2 years old December 28th. I love her more than anything. So a week ago today, I had the biggest emotional scare. She's had the most physical challenging day of her life. And fast forward to Tuesday of last week, she ate her blanket. And I didn't realize she ate her blanket, and it wasn't like the whole thing. It was like the backing of the blanket. But when I came home, she was acting normal, like, as in like, no, she acted like she did something wrong, but I couldn't find what she did wrong. The house wasn't a mess. I couldn't find any like something she got into. I was like, okay, let's just live our regular day life. We go outside, we play, we do everything we normally do. And fast forward to dinner, she eats normally, regular appetite. We get into bed, she looks cute. I wrap her in that same blanket that I give her every day. Just to find out when I opened it, that's what she ate, was the back of that blanket. So I was like, oh my God, Nina, this is what you did today. And she kind of just looked at me like, oops. I'm like, okay, so are you gonna throw up, or like, what am I going to expect? Is it gonna, how did you eat all of that? Like, I'm thankful that I didn't come home to like half a blanket out of her mouth. So, literally within those moments, she started throwing up, and it was like pieces of blanket. So I called out of work so I could be home with her, because I needed to be there, because I knew that she would eat her throw up and probably the blanket again. And I was right, as in like, when it all happened yesterday, the Wednesday morning, she tried to eat it. I was like, no girl, we don't need to eat your throw up blanket. So we disposed of that. I let her out. She went to the bathroom. She pooped out some of the blanket. And I was getting really hopeful, because I was like, I'm scared to go for surgery. So we go inside, and I give her breakfast. And within a short period of time, again, she threw up her breakfast. Then I called my vet as soon as they open. It's like 8 o'clock. And they tell me that most of the doctors are on vacation and there's only one, and I'll have to go to an emergency ER, medical center. So I was like, okay, because she was showing signs of like a bowel obstruction. I was like, okay. And then we went outside before I made that phone call, and I was looking at like how to get there, and I was like, okay, it's not that bad of a drive. So because I've never been out to those medical ones that are a little bit farther out from me, and I just like, you know, I need to mentally prepare myself to like how to get somewhere. And I'm also like crying my face off, and I was like, I'm scared, like this is not how it's going to end between us. Like, she deserves to have like a long, full, joyful great life. And I just love her so much. And I think also another reason, like off topic, why I've been procrastinating on this video, because I thought I was going to do it Monday, is just I felt like I was really still like in the emotions, and like just I don't think I would have been able to say it without crying through the whole video. And now that her and I are in a better place and things are going well, that it just seems easier. It's like we're out of the woods. So with that said, back to going outside. She was pooping more of the blanket out. I was like, okay, this is great. Like, maybe I don't have to. And like, then I felt horrible. I was like, but their opinion was like I should go. And I was like, but a lot of the blanket was coming out. And I was like, okay, well, she just needs to like eat more, pass more. So I gave her chicken and rice. So like little small meals. Like, I've done this before where she had like a bacterial infection, and I understand a bacterial infection is different than like having something clogged in your intestines and your stomach tract and everything else. And I was just like being really hopeful, and I was like we dodged a bullet. But we didn't. So she ends up throwing up again. I'm freaking out. She's okay through the night. We went to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and then we went back to bed, and it was like 4 a.m. She was acting up again. So I called my mom. I was like a mess. She didn't answer a couple times. So I just drove to her house. I was like, we gotta go to the hospital. And she's like, okay. So we bring Nina to the emergency vets, and we check her in, and they were honestly probably the most sweet people I've ever met. And you know, checked her in. They said it was gonna be a while, and my mom and I went to Starbucks. We had our little breakfast. We walked around at the stores there, waiting, and you know, that's when I got my phone call. They did an x-ray and a sonogram. Because she is a bigger individual, they had to do more takes on an x-ray for her. So I was like, okay. And they were telling me my options for surgery. And when I heard that like surgery is the only option, kinda, pretty much. So the first one was they were gonna do a camera and go down her throat and grab the blanket or the object that we weren't sure of, but we knew it was blanket because the blanket was ripped apart. And they said the problem with the blanket and going through a camera is that they're worried that the clamps to pull on it would not like be able to grip on it or be strong enough to pull it through. And I was like, I was so about that option because it seemed less invasive. And then they told me about cutting her open, and then I was like just thinking about someone cutting Nina open again, like after, just because she got spayed. It was like, I just can't, like, I mean, like, that's the decision I end up going with because it seemed like a better risk. Like, Nina deserved to have the best option for her. And with that option is, they said they can go in with their hands and they make sure they get everything out completely. So they did find one piece of blanket stuck in the small intestine, they said, but they were able to push it into the colon, which meant once Nina started to eat again, it would work itself out. But don't be surprised that she wouldn't go to the bathroom between 3 to 5 days. Her first stool was Monday around like 3 a.m., which I'm so thankful for. And I was like, okay, so ever since then, today's Thursday, she's been having normal, regular, small poops. And she is on medication. Her healing is 2 to 3 weeks. And, you know, I was really scared. But I'm thankful that, you know, she's good. She's happy, she's healthy, she's getting a little more mouthier. She wants to play more, but I also today, I went less on her trazodone, which is supposed to keep her mellow. I was like, just because her and I were having a calm day, I felt like I didn't need to keep it as high as I did in the beginning, because when she saw me, she was so excited. She ripped the cone off right off her head, and I just hugged her and I cried right there in the lobby. And I cried the whole way home in the back seat. Just so thankful that Nina made it. And I looked at her and I was like, no more blankets. You can't chew on anything anymore. My sweet girl. And just like other things, it's like, even though she's going through a lot physically, it's like she didn't take a time out for being there for me, as in the other day, like, National Grid was here, looking just to check the meters or whatever. And, you know, she still did like her dog duties and bark, and like, I was like, you don't need to be stressed. Like, don't worry about things. I'm like, we're okay. And I'm just like, I just need you to be better and feel better, and we're gonna be okay. So, you know, there was like times where when she was having her surgery, I was trying not to freak out. But I told myself, I was like, there's something that told me, I was like, she's doing good, because if I didn't hear from them as soon as surgery started, then something went wrong. But then I was like, if something, I didn't hear from them after the time they said, then something could be wrong again. But I was just really hopeful and like thankful for Nina, and that she's a strong girl, and that the surgeons did, everything they could. So, why I'm very thankful that I believe everything happened the way it did was because the whole surgical team and every person I needed for Nina was there that day. They weren't there yesterday. From the people that I needed to do her x-rays, to just doing the procedure and the staffing, it was meant to be. And I'm glad things went the way they went, because I was really hard on myself that day. I was like, I should have been here Wednesday. But, you know, it is what it is, and it's done and it's over with. But I'm thankful that the surgical team that I needed for Nina to keep her safe was all there that day. And I'll always be thankful. And I'm glad that I have my Nina. And, you know, before we know it, she can go back, start running and playing. But we've been doing small walks on the leash just to keep her going. Because, like, I feel like she looks at me and she's just, like, so bored from being inside. And I'm just like, not yet, miss. Not yet. So, I think, are you falling asleep? You know, that's that. So, that is my update with Nina after her surgery. And she has another week and a few days, I believe. So, that's that. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Emotional roller coaster.